Okay, what's up? It's the ManFUzed Podcast. I am Kay Lee, audio producer, sitting here with my co-host, Ben H., real estate man.
What's up?
And we have a special guest in studio, a very unique individual.
Yes.
By the name of Kyle Martin.
What's up, Kyle?
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, bro?
Oh, I'm here, baby.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today, Kyle.
Gracias.
All right. So we spoke actually about Kyle last week when Kyle and Ben went sort of on a pheasant hunt. I thought you guys were going to really be out in the woods hunting. I didn't know that you were going to be surrounding a area where they're just going to let these birds fly and then you just murder them.
European style.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is?
The tower hunt,
Yeah.
right?
The tower hunt. So, which brought up kind of a question and some thoughts because Kyle has been a hunter. You were like born to hunt. Your family hunts, your dad hunts, you've hunted with your dad. Is that how you got into hunting?
No, actually, we're all men, so we're all born to hunt. But I was not born a hunter. I just acquired it growing up around other people who enjoyed it. Backstory, my grandfather actually committed suicide.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I didn't know the man. Heard great things. Oh, that was my mother's father. So so I was never allowed to own a weapon growing up. But when I turned 18, the first thing I did was buy my own rifle.
Nice.
I was raised not necessarily hunting, but I had a good friend who you met on the hunt, Daniel.
Yeah, great guy.
His father actually had a ton of hunting land. And that's where we used to go early high school all the way through, college and until he sold it.
Very cool.
That's amazing, man. To have that experience. It's funny. I was talking to my wife about this yesterday with regard to Jack because, I spent my years as a boy and a young teenager in the woods, and it was so important for me. And, it's like I was talking about that with just so I hear what you're saying, like to have all that land and be able to go out and do those things, to harvest your own food and stuff like that. It's amazing, dude.
So today's episode with you, Kyle, I'm hoping you're going to get us in the mind of a hunter. Now, me and you did some exercise the other night. We were running up a hill, in front of our house because we live close to each other, but you recommended that I watch this documentary called Stars in the Sky. And that's kind of exactly what I did. And basically, it's a documentary about this guy who he was raised in a hunting environment. His dad was a hunter, his brothers were hunters, all this stuff. And so that's he knew that from the time he could remember. But it gave a good perspective, I thought, as to what a hunter is. A lot of people, PETA doesn't like hunters, obviously. Vegans and vegetarians don't like hunters, but they don't like people who eat meat too, because they sit there and go, well, your way of living is shit. Our way is so much better.
And that's a very hypocritical thing, by the way, for the vegans, because they eat a lot of soybean. The way that these soybean fields are tilled and harvested kills literally every animal all the way down into the topsoil, including the birds, the snakes, the mice, the frickin' raccoons, the foxes.
Yeah, which is totally hypocritical.
Yeah, I mean, they kill more animals eating vegan, probably.
I thought about this too, because they didn't get into it, but let's just say, take the modern world out of it and you don't go to the grocery store. But if you're a vegan or a vegetarian and you're having to take care of your own crops and animals are constantly coming and eating it, you're probably going to kill those animals that are coming and eating the shit you're growing.
You got to keep in mind, too, this is a new mindset for all of the world. Is we're all grown men. We want to hunt. It's a natural thing for us to want to go hunting to provide for our family. Up until, 50 years ago, everyone went hunting. It didn't matter. I mean, in that documentary, they explain after World War II, there was an influx of people that went hunting and went into the woods. It was probably for their sanity.
Yeah, probably so, man.
I mean, a lot of PTSD now. You're seeing a lot of guys that come back from the war and are avid, outdoorsmen.
Of course.
Are avid into, they have a coffee company now that is
Black
dedicated
Rifle?
to just that. It's in our blood. It's what we do.
You're referring to Black Rifle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. We need to get an endorsement from them so we can talk about our love for Black Rifle coffee.
I think we should put value first. Let's endorse them and send it to them.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to send them this clip.
Yes, we are.
That's right.
Black Rifle Coffee, we endorse you.
Yeah.
We love
love your coffee.
Yeah.
Yes. from the grounds up.
It's the real deal.
There it is.
Yeah,
The real
boom,
deal.
boom.
Boom.
There it was, son. You heard it here. There's your new tagline. So, yeah, you're right. And also, another thing about this documentary was I thought fascinating because while some people are like, oh, you go and you kill this, precious wildlife, but hunters are actually responsible for the conservation and the getting some of these species back from almost extinction because of the overkilling, like around the time of like Theodore Roosevelt.
Correct. Yeah. Ducks Unlimited has done a great job with conservation around America, around South America, around the world. And they're one of the leaders in conservation for hunting. It's mostly ducks, but it's more wetlands. I mean, which wetlands bring all kinds of
boys to the yard.
Yeah. Ecosystems back to what we need. And it just helps the land. It helps the people. It helps the crops. It helps the animals. It's the way we have to be. And, there's things that we dive into in society where we push against hunters, where hunters, if it's, the old saying is if it's brown, it's down, is a deer hunting term.
Oh, if it's brown, it's down.
If it's moving, and that's not. If
it's brown, it's down.
That's not the way. I mean, you can take that multiple ways.
I don't know. That's a harsh slogan.
It's a harsh world, baby.
Yeah, it is, especially if it's brown.
Yeah, Jesus.
So no, you have people that hunt for trophy.
Which I'm not. I've never been hunting to where and I don't like just unnecessary. If you're going to eat your food,
right?
If you're going to eat what you're killing, great. But for you to go and pay to get a license or whatever to kill a lion, that's just basically sitting there and you're using a freaking, sniper rifle. I mean, to me, and all you want is the trophy. I think that's bullshit.
Now,
personally, that's just my thoughts on it.
The whole lion deal,
or elephants or shit like that. That's just, you just want to say you killed one.
It's more of a, how do they say, penis envy?
Yeah, totally. I mean, at least if I was going to kill a rhino, I would sell its horn and get all that money. I mean, at least maybe there's some motivation behind that. I'm not saying I endorse that type of thing.
You're the problem, sir.
Yeah, no.
That would be illegal.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
That would be illegal.
It would be highly illegal.
Highly illegal.
And like I just said, I'm not for the merciless killing of any animal. But I think if you're out there hunting, and you're going to eat it, and you're, as in this documentary, they're using every feasible part of that animal in some way.
Correct. I think growing up, also, the older generation has to teach the younger generation how to do it.
Yeah.
There is no conservation if you don't teach why you're doing it.
That's right.
And I think that's huge in today's society, and that's what we need to get. Ben and I have sons who are younger, and they're good buddies at school, teaching them the right way. Even Kai, he still has time to learn the right way to harvest an animal and why you do it and why you do it for your family.
That's interesting. And I think you're teaching that generation if push came to shove and you needed to live off the land. Because we don't know what's going to happen in this world.
Does.
Yeah. So, I mean, could be nuclear war, whatever it is. And for you to have that skill set.
Yeah, dude. The path that Kyle is leading me down here is I think pre-industrial revolution, think 1850 and earlier, okay? Sure, that's 170 years ago. So let's think 150 plus years back. Now, all the way up to that point, you had to hunt for your food.
Yes, sir.
You had to. So most of humanity, bro, didn't make it. Most of humanity starved. Most of humanity was killed in wars. Most of humanity didn't fucking make it, bro. Our ancestors made it because we're here. And we were born of our ancestors all the way back, right? So somehow our ancestors made it through. And likely, if you go back far enough, it's because they were hunters. They were gatherers. They were producers. They were providers. Right? So we have that within us, and it's something that it's happening anyways, bro. The mass execution of cows and chickens and lamb and all of the food that we all eat every day mercilessly, throw it in the trash can, throw it in our refrigerator. We have no respect for it. It's just like a fucking Frosted Flake, but it came off of a real breathing, living, bleeding animal.
Right, of course.
Which was murdered, by the way, so that you could eat it.
Mass murder.
Mass murder.
That's one of thousands.
So if you really think about it, which way is more humane? Which way is more digressive as it pertains to the murderer or whatever, the killer? Look, I got to be honest with you. I feel bad taking any life.
Right.
The hard part about it is watching the life go away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we have life and we value life.
Absolutely. Well, some of us do anyway.
You know, but when you're out there and you're doing it, when you're out there and you're in the forest, you're in the woods and you're breathing the air, it's almost like a shared respect. And then you honor the animal by eating it.
And one of the cool things I thought in this documentary I'm talking about, Stars
in the Sky.
Stars in the Sky.
Steve Rinelli.
Yeah, Steve Rinelli, who's like a famous hunter.
Right.
He's got a second documentary called Meat Eater, and I think both are available on Netflix. That's where I watched the first one. But one of the things he was saying when he goes out, he tries to make the hunt a little harder for himself. I mean, because there are certain instances where he could very easily just take the shot and kill something quick, but he likes to put some, I don't know, roadblocks. He likes to make it gives them a chance. It gives the deer
right. So
a chance. Like he's not taking the easy road just to kill something.
So his big thing is hunting on foot. And so it's an equalizer, right? So if a deer, whether it's deer, elk, whatever, they have a insane sense of hearing and smell.
And they're fast.
Yeah, and if they get any sense of danger, they're gone. So that's the equalizer that he likes to have in his hunts. Like, I can sit in a deer stand, I can spray myself with doe urine, and it's not fun. It's like a carnival. And that's where his big thing is he likes to take his meat on the ground while he's stalking it, per se.
So and I've heard this, so, I mean, people hunt with guns, obviously. That's easier than hunting with a bow.
Correct.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you hunt with a crossbow, that's like cheating. Is it considered like almost like...
It's like a hybrid. So with a bow, you have to be closer to the animal to kill it, which means...
And you have to have practice at using a bow.
100%. You got to know wind speed. You got to know your distance. You have to lock everything in beforehand. The prep work for a bow is a lot harder than, a 308 that's going to shoot, 700 yards.
Right.
And a crossbow is kind of... You can hunt 80 yards with a crossbow and still be deadly. Growing up, my father, he allowed me to go hunting. He had a bow. He said, if you want to hunt, you learn to hunt with a recurve bow, which is like old Indian bows.
Right.
He goes, and then you can graduate to wherever you want. He's like, if you harvest an animal with a recurve bow, then I'll let you hunt whatever you want. And that's how it started. It's an adrenaline rush, stalking a prey, knowing that it can kill you at any second. A deer can maul you to death. Like, you can die.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
So
are there instances of people getting mauled by deer?
100%. Yeah.
I feel like they're the most skittish. Like they'll run away.
Well, let it walk up on a baby fawn with a mother there, and she will destroy you.
And they're strong.
And their hooves are like razors.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I'll tell a quick story. We used to hunt in Macon, and we were hunting, and we were walking through the swamps, and we walked up on piglets. So there's wild hogs in Georgia. And we walked up on some piglets, and Daniel froze. And he was like, we were all like, oh, stop. And then all of a sudden, Mama comes out of the bushes and just starts charging at us.
Now, this isn't a deer. This is
a wild hog.
Oh, yeah,
which is dangerous.
Those with the tusks.
Oh, yeah. And it was, so we ran. We had to jump in the river.
Oh, shit.
So we actually ran and we split. And I think that's what saved us is she didn't know where to go, gave us an instance, and there was a river behind us. And we all just jumped in it. And it was like 30 degrees outside. Jumping in this river, but I mean, it's what we did to save our life. Our guns were fully submerged, like everything. That was the most freaked out that I've ever been in my entire life.
Wow.
So does a hog won't go in the water?
Well, no, it was deep enough to where
he wasn't going to swim.
She was not going to. I don't even know. I don't think hogs can swim, but
they're bad at swimming. They're not effective in the water.
If
they cross a river, you know what I mean?
In the Bahamas, don't the pigs swim or do?
Well, those
they're
those
island
are domesticated
pigs.
though.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. Did someone teach them how to swim?
No, they just raised on an island. Bro.
Okay,
it's probably an acquired trait.
Okay,
no, but this is the different thing than those pigs, and what he's talking about. Wild hog,
right?
Dude, is a big. That's the one with the big hair coming off the back.
Yeah.
It's a Russian boar.
Yeah, a boar.
they'll gouge you with
they
those
will
things.
kill you.
They'll kill you.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
They'd love to.
Oh, 100%. That's what
And
that's
eat
what she
you.
wants.
And
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
eat you too.
Oh, they'll eat you.
Oh yeah.
Your whole bones and everything.
Yeah, I know pigs. I've seen Snatch, the movie, and where they throw the people to the pigs, and the pigs will eat everything, and there'll be no trace of them left. But I didn't
Pretty
realize
scary if
that
you think about it.
they don't get tall; they're just like diesel.
Some are huge.
Really?
Some are 500 plus pounds.
Have you ever eaten boar?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good meat. Very good. Meat.
There's got to be a lot of meat that you can get off of one of those things.
Yeah, good roast.
That's a good roast.
It's all on how you
Ew,
cook.
I hate it. Is it going to be stewy? Because I just don't do stew.
Yeah.
Crock pot shit, I just don't do it.
Yeah, not for you though.
Yeah. I'm not going to
Stick to your tofu.
Yeah, I don't eat tofu. I did have lamb chops last night, and they were delicious.
Lamb chops are delicious.
So, yeah, I've never heard of anybody getting mauled by a deer before. I know cars get mauled by deers all the time. I mean, you hit a deer,
Well, there's been deaths where deer get caught in the window or trying to kick their way out and actually kick you to death, which is probably one of the worst ways you could possibly go.
Yeah, I could imagine it'd be like getting kicked by a Clydesdale or something just in the face over and over.
Yeah.
Be horrible.
Yeah, it'd be tragic. I think the mass killing, and I'm a meat eater, and I buy that shit from the store too, but I definitely think that there's more of a personal connection.
We need to go harvest a deer, Kaylee.
Yeah.
Me and you.
All right, let's do it.
We're
I mean,
going out
I'm
into
not
the woods.
saying I'm not afraid to do it or wouldn't do it. I definitely would feel bad, I think, because I see deer in our neighborhood. Every morning,
Yeah.
at least 3 times a week when I leave at like 4 a.m., I'm seeing the same family of deer.
Yeah.
And they're chill and they're cute. So I couldn't imagine.
Well, I wonder if a cow pasture would let us go snipe a cow.
I mean, like.
Sure.
That'd be an interesting podcast episode.
I've got him.
We're fighting the fucking mass killing.
Yeah.
Is there a season for that?
We're going to kill our own cow.
Yeah. We're going to kill the neighbor's cow.
Is it Angus season yet?
Yeah.
I mean, do they have
Go
that?
Wagyu.
No.
So you can kill a cow any time of the year.
I don't know, dude.
Now, you might not want to kill someone else's cow.
Well, it's always someone else's cow.
Not if you buy the cow and then kill it.
If you buy the cow, you can kill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the loophole.
We need to have 100 cow like Yellowstone. Have
I don't.
And then people can come and snipe their own cow.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Snipe a cow.
Dude, yeah, and it's all really, if you think about it, I mean, it's a more humane way of you providing the beef for your family that you're going to eat anyways. Just come once a year to the cow shoot.
To the cow shoot.
Tower shoot?
Yeah, except it's you in the tower.
Yeah, they're chunky.
Yeah. Now, are we going to offer this Etowah Valley place are we going to offer the cutting and the cleaning of the
All
meat?
the processing right there. Yeah.
Right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the EPA would not allow that.
Why?
No, I don't know much about it, but
Please tell us, Kyle.
Inform
us.
I'm sure to slaughter a cow and
mutilate it right there on site
and dress it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you got to have a license for that.
Oh, we'd have everything squared away. Yeah. No, we'd get everything squared away. No, this is a reason to buy 100 acres right here.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
100 acres, couple hundred head of cattle.
Well, we had cows growing up, and we would just take them to the slaughterhouse.
Think about the mushrooms we get from having that acreage with those cows.
Oh, dude. That's
We'd
a
have
whole
psilocybin. We'd have the black market business as well.
No, it's going to be legal by then.
Well, we think, but if not, it'll be black market. I'm not opposed to sitting on the side of the street corner slinging mushrooms.
For the record, I never agreed to do any kind of black market shit.
I did.
Never seen a farmer drive a Maserati.
Well, because
they hadn't figured out the loophole of sniping cows yet.
They're not selling psilocybin on the black market. I'm making shroom tea and serving it like a lemonade stand.
We'll go legal, dude. What we need to do is a truffle farm. Beef, truffles, cheese, wine.
He's a truffle king. This guy.
I love a truffle. And I don't even like mushrooms.
Wouldn't it be cool to have a farm that produced all that cool shit?
We could. 100 acres. If anybody wants to donate to the ManFUzed farm, right?
ManFUzed Conservation Society.
Okay, yeah.
Or something like
that.
that.
You may be onto something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So if you would like to submit a donation, you can do so at manfused.com.
You could also buy the big guy lap dance.
And you can buy the big guy at lap dance too. That is available. You can definitely support the show. We'll figure out what we want to do with the money. Do you still, at this point in your life, when you murder a deer, do you have you're excited when you hit one?
So in full transparency, I had to give
get hard.
I had to give it. Yeah. There's a lot of guys out there that cannot wait for deer season. I mean, they just opening day is like Christmas time to them.
But part of that would be going out with your buddies, suiting up, being out in nature,
of course,
going on the hunt. I mean,
you're living your heritage, man.
Yeah.
Well, you're hanging out with your boys. The night before, you've probably had a half a bottle of bourbon by a campfire, just shooting the shit with all your best buds. You got a deer camp that you're probably involved with. And it's like an athlete that's been training all year for opening day or the first game of the season. They've prepped. They've got their cameras out. They know where they've been scouting. They know where everything's at. It's go time. And it's like, think of Christmas morning as a kid. You cannot wait to wake up.
Yeah.
So you guys typically go and set up those like trail cameras before, so like to see what kind of activity is hitting these spots, so you kind of have an idea of what's around there, or is it?
In full transparency, I had to give up deer hunting for my wife.
Why?
Yeah. I was already getting tired of it. It's a lot of work.
Is it?
I was working, offshore, didn't have a lot of time, so I was spending it with her. I enjoy bird hunting and saltwater fishing. That's like my passions in life.
Yeah, and Ben, you had mentioned before, of all the amount of slaughter, especially in the United States. I mean, any society, the mass killing of, animals and fish. I mean, think about and one thing I can't stand, and I love fish, but I cannot stand what China, the shark fin soup, where they're massacring dolphins and whales.
That's a whole other podcast.
What humans do. The funny thing about it is it's human nature. And consider it to be right or wrong, we also kill each other in mass scale. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
At war. And it's just part of human nature, unfortunately. And it's something that we do. But fortunately, it's part of our diet. We eat other animals because we're so far detached from it as we walk through the supermarket. But the truth is that we're eating other animals.
I wonder if you walk through the supermarket and they were literally butchering a cow right there in front of everybody, how many people would be turned off from buying that meat?
Yeah, what if on one side of the supermarket you had the cows coming in, walking in, and on the other side it was steaks?
It used to be like that.
And you could see the whole thing happen.
Kind of still is. Go to Publix. If you walk into Publix, you can see them back there, quartering up, butchering. They're not taking the entire cow, but they've got the skin and the guts and all that already. But they have the whole animal beast back there. And they're cutting it up in your fillets.
Well, they use those air guns, right? It just shoots like
I think it's a bolt.
Well, that's the slaughter. There's a lot of things they use like that, and electrodes, and there's a bunch of things they use.
I think animals. What shed light on one of the ways that they do it. Did you guys ever see that movie No Country for Old Men?
Oh yeah.
So the guy in that movie is walking around with a tank and this little and a hose with this little gun, and basically he just someone opens the door and just puts it to their head. It's like boom. And it just shoots that air hole into their brain, and they're just it's crazy. Can you imagine if they were doing that?
Yeah, it's the old saying, man. Everybody loves sausage, but no one wants to see how the sausage gets made.
That's right. Who wants this sausage?
You know what I'm saying? It's true, dude. It's a nasty place, dude. The world's a nasty place. We live in a society which is so luxurious we don't even fucking know.
Have you ever seen sausage being made? Like in a plant?
It's the skin, right? They're taking a skin and they're stuffing it.
Yeah, it's gross.
It literally is disgusting.
But aren't they stuffing this it almost looks like foreskin?
You can do it at your house.
Yeah, I probably won't do that.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But
we do it at Ben's house.
Sausage is delicious.
Yeah,
I love pack sausage at Ben's house.
Yeah, we can pack sausage at Ben's house. So you had just mentioned something, Kyle, that when you had to give up deer hunting, that sacrifice you made for your lovely wife. Yeah. The love of your life.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Yeah. You were working offshore.
Yes.
So you used to work on an oil rig.
Correct.
How many miles offshore?
Oh, a couple hundred.
Wow.
In the Gulf.
And you got helicoptered out there, right?
Correct.
So even on a helicopter, it would take you a couple hours?
Depending on where the ship, it was a drill ship.
Okay, it was a drill ship.
More of exploratory.
It wasn't
operation.
one of those 4-posted stationary rigs that you see.
Same concept. So those things they rotate and everything on thrusters, bow thrusters. And same way with the drill ship. It's all thruster, dynamic position. It's actually quite interesting if you ever, want to dive off into a rabbit hole.
I
love rabbit holes.
Yeah.
So I guess they deal with really rough water pretty well.
My first time I went out there, we went through a hurricane. It was a Category 1.
Holy shit.
And we had to move, 80 miles out of the way. And it ended up changing direction right as we were moving. So we got the kind of the outer bands of it. It was a the most gnarly experience that I've ever been a part of.
Really?
I mean, you're talking 40-foot rogue waves.
That's insane.
So you flew out on the helicopter during this? Like,
No. I was already out there.
You were already out there.
Yeah. They won't fly for safety reasons, out in a hurricane.
How did you even come up with that job? Like, how did that even fall into your lap that, hey, I'm going to go work hundreds of miles on this rig?
2008 happened.
Okay.
And, everybody was looking for jobs. And
yeah, that was.
I was actually living with a guy I knew from back in the day, and he was a merchant marine and was actually an officer on a supply vessel. Just gotten this job, and he's like, "Hey, man, if you're really looking for something, I can probably hook you up out, offshore." I'm like, "What the hell is that? What do you do?" He's like, "Oh, like an oil rig," and I'm like, "What?" I was like, "How much does it pay?" He goes, "I think it's pretty good, And I was like, "Well, you go out for 3 weeks, you're back for 3 weeks, you go out for 3 weeks." So his next time out, I was like, "Hey, Neil, hook me up. Like, what? Throw some feelers out there if they're hiring."
Yeah.
And this was back like the oil rush. It was like everybody they couldn't find enough people. And he called me while I was on the rig, and he said, "This is the starting salary." And I said, "You'll have my resume in 5 minutes."
What is a starting salary typically for somebody 2008 on an oil rig for 3 weeks at a clip?
So starting salary was like $77,000. And that was like scrubbing decks.
So, and that's 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off.
That's awesome.
And 52 for 52 weeks. So it's just 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 3 weeks on.
And it didn't matter where it landed. Like there was some days I got back. I think one year I got back on Thanksgiving, or I had to leave like day after Thanksgiving.
Did they at least have you a turkey dinner?
It's all catered out there, bro. The food is amazing. I was never out there for Christmas, thank God. It just how my schedule worked out with my promotions and all. I was out there for Thanksgiving a few times, actually every time, and except for once. And I mean, they'd fly in crab legs and turkey, and I mean,
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you had people out there that did your clothes. You weren't wearing much. They had coveralls for you to wear, but everything was given to you.
It's awesome.
In a typical day, you could work how many hours a day?
12 hours on, 12 hours off. So you shared a room with the guy that worked your other 12 hours. Bottom bunk, top bunk. You weren't hot bunking. And
a what?
Hot bunking.
What's a hot bunking?
Hot, like he gets out, it's still hot. You get in, and it's still warm. Yeah, it's not like
he's been farting on your.
The mill. No telling what he's doing in the.
He's looking at the pictures of your girl up on the bed.
It was interesting. Basically, all you did was eat, sleep, work out, and repeat.
Did you guys, I would imagine, playing cards and shit like that?
Yeah, there were some card games. We had card games, ping pong. We had some pretty intense ping pong tournaments.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
A nice workout gym, CrossFit gym down in the bottom of the hole. And it was a different experience. One that I'll never do again, but something I can tell my kids.
So in our last episode, we discussed derogatory customer names that businesses had, and one of the names was a rig pig, which was basically somebody that worked on a rig for 3 weeks or whatever, and then once they got off, they went to like the nearest bar, and they spend all their money on waitresses and whatever, drinking and hanging out. So they called that was how they classified it, as a rig pig.
That's a rig pig.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that out there, guys.
Is it fun being a rig pig?
It's a different world.
Can you expand on the life of being a rig pig?
I didn't dabble in in that kind of scenery.
The rig pigging?
Yeah. The old lot lizard.
Yeah, the old
lot lizard.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the swamp donkey.
Yeah.
I love it.
But so when you were out there, were you running like cranes?
Yeah, so I went out there and I'm like, man, I'm not going to do this long term, and I don't really want to go. You have a couple different options, not too many. You either go to the rig floor. If you've ever seen Deepwater Horizon, so that movie, it's actually a pretty good kind of a visual of. It's obviously Hollywood did their stupid spinoff on it.
The ship you were on, they have a drill, and they're drilling the seafloor?
Yeah, we worked for Chevron. Our company worked for Chevron, and we would drill, try to find, they had their spots they wanted to look. We would try to find what they're looking for, and then we pull back out and move to the next location.
So if you found it, do you have to call them or call someone else for them to come and how they're going to capture the oil?
Yeah, it was a big deal. It's not oil per se. Like you would cap it off and they would come back. It's basically saving for later. So there's so many reserves in the Gulf that you have no idea how many, reserves are actually there that are capped off just waiting to be pumped.
And someone has it on their sheet, longitude, latitude of this exact.
You own the grid. So the Gulf is split up into grid, like the grid system, and each major oil company owns certain grids.
So if you found oil, you guys would put the cap on it.
We would cap it.
Phone the company and be like, we struck oil.
No, they were out there.
Oh, they were monitoring your shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking billions of dollars being pumped into exploratory operations. And once you find it, it was a big freaking deal.
While you were working, did you guys hit
we
it
found it a couple times.
times?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'll bet the representative that was on the ship was happy as a mother.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, he showed it to us.
I'm rich,
you
bitch.
Find, it's a big deal. It's a pretty big deal.
Which is why you're out there in the first place.
It's all we do, man.
Exploring.
It's all we do.
How deep is this drill going? Like, are we talking like hundreds of feet?
Oh, thousands.
Where the hell's a drill bit that's like thousands of feet?
Well, you got drill pipe. It's all connected to the drill pipe. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while ago, but when I left, we had just finished the deepest drill in the Gulf of Mexico, and I think it was around 36,000 feet.
Wow.
So,
36,000
you have 36,000 feet
that's like
of pipe?
6 miles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were in 6,200 feet of water.
36,000. Wait, hold on. Okay, because you're drilling like deep into the earth.
6 miles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but how does this drill bit, like this pipe, you have that much
You just
pipe?
keep connecting pieces. And
No, I
sending them
get
down.
that, but still, the amount of space you would need to hold 36,000 feet of pipe, you would think would be like...
Well, so you have supply vessels that come up beside you. They're kind of like the storage area.
Okay.
So when you're drilling, I mean, obviously you're not doing that in 2 weeks' time.
They're handing off pipe. So it would, to drill that, just to set it up to go that, like to be able to penetrate that deep, weeks you're talking,
Oh,
right?
months, maybe even years. We were out there at least a year on that one site drilling. Because you got to think, man, that drill's not moving fast. And it's just plugging out water as it goes and just spinning. And it's just spinning nonstop unless you hit something. Then you got to back out and go around it.
So how do you
It's
even...
amazing to me how the rig can stay in the same place.
It's crazy. I mean, it's
Right.
How the fuck is that?
Without an anchor.
How does it just stay in the same place with all the wind and the waves and the current?
Well, that's where my roommate came into play. We were in constant contact with him.
Really?
The rig floor and the bridge were always in contact with, hey, weather's going to be here in about 6 hours. Y'all may want to. It's a monster organization that's ran like clockwork.
That's crazy.
Unless they have an oil leak in the bottom of the ocean, and then there's nightmare and they can't plug it.
That's a really cool experience, man. I bet you're glad that you did that at that time in your life.
It's something that I'll never forget. The people that I met. I mean, dude, you're talking. You meet there's some interesting people out there. A lot of good people. Shout out to the South Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama guys, Texas. My favorite are the Louisiana people. They love to cook
really?
and they love to drink.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you told me a few stories about
man, it's wild. There's some wild folks.
Awesome.
Both my bosses on there love them to death. They're wild.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
They still around?
Oh yeah. A lot of those guys are lifers too, man. Some of those guys are second, third generation.
Wow. Just like the hunter.
So they're out and they're back and they're out and they're back. And
that's just how life is.
That's just life.
I mean, it's...
it goes back to providing for your family.
Well, right. It's not like you have to go get a PhD to work on a rig, right? So, it's work that, they can do. It's like almost mindless probably for them at this point. They're probably good with their hands anyway. It's just something that you can just get into. And
most of those guys, too, are smart enough to get a PhD.
Why would they waste their time?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to tell a 20-year-old making $100,000 to go get a PhD. He's going to tell you to go screw himself.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped out of high school and became a body piercer. And I remember my dad going, dude, you're never going to amount to anything. And within like a year, I rode this wave and this trend. I was making like $100K.
Yeah.
And I was making more than him. And I'm like, fuck you, Dad. And he's probably going to listen to this. So love you, Dad. It's okay. Those words, I used them as fuel. They didn't bog me down.
They didn't bog me. Look at me now.
Yeah. Look at me now. Listen to me now. But yeah, so I think that's super interesting. I mean, the oil rig thing is it's fascinating. Just like, who came up with, how did they plug it? 36,000. How do they even know they hit oil? Was it sending up samples constantly or something? Are they able
That's a good question. I don't know. I wasn't involved in that side. I was more involved on the deck side, where I kind of, going back to my path, it's 130 degrees on this deck. I mean, it's hot as hell.
Yeah. You are moist and glistening all the time.
I mean, you're talking about chafed.
Oh, yeah.
You have no freaking clue, man. Bleeding chafed.
Oh.
Like, it is miserable.
That's crazy.
You got monkey butt, and, and it hurts every step.
Shout out to Gold Bond.
Yeah, Gold Bond helped Kyle
the liquid
through his rig.
The chafe stick literally saved my life. Like their number one salesman.
Boom. Endorsement number 2.
Yeah.
Gold bond.
Chafe stick.
Yeah.
Chafe stick.
Yeah. Chafe stick. You saved Kyle's balls.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for not letting him bleed as much. Keeping him dry through 130 degrees of rigging.
Yeah. So back to the story, I just had to choose, man. I was like, man, the rig floor is that's even hotter because you got oil all over you and mud and you're just sweating. And I'm like, what can I do? And I'm looking up I got an equipment operator background. I had a business moving earth and all kinds of stuff. And it was like, it just seemed natural to get in the crane. My supervisor, great people again, man, were like, you want to get up in here? Let's do it. Get in the cab. Got in the cab. That bitch was air conditioning. And I was like, that's it, man. I hopped in and it was like clockwork. I mean, I got promoted in 9 months. So
wow.
It was the real deal. Got a promotion, got that money.
So then you're sitting in the box of a crane in air conditioning up off the side of an oil rig.
Yeah.
Craning shit.
Food,
on and off the rig.
Supplies.
Well, I mean, everything that's on the rig has to be brought
Off
up by
of
the
ships?
crane. Yeah, off the ships that are moving
Dude,
on.
that's rowdy.
20-foot seas.
That's
you
crazy.
got Metallica, you got Pantera just blaring in the background, and you're just like,
Holy
Dun,
shit.
dun, dun, dun,
And
dun.
it's just storming out there.
Oh, it's
You're
awesome.
like Captain Dan on Forrest Gump.
The perfect storm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan, Captain Dan.
Yeah, it's awesome, guys. It's an adrenaline rush. I mean, it's all about the rush.
And you're talking about seas sometimes as bad as like what you would see on The Deadliest Catch.
Oh, they were rocking. Yeah, I got some video on my phone.
Jeez.
Did you ever get seasick?
I did the first time during that hurricane. I yacked over the railing. If you didn't get seasick, there's something wrong with you. Because, I mean, it was so gnarly. I used to get bad seasick. After being on that rig, I don't really get seasick too much anymore.
You probably wouldn't sleep unless it was rocking you.
Oh
It
my
probably
God.
would be the best sleep ever.
Dude, they would put the boat dead into the waves, and you would just rock like a baby. It was the most insane. You're like,
Yeah, you know what? The only comparison I ever had, I used to have a waterbed. It was the full wave.
Yeah, I used to have a
The full
water
wave. Yeah, did you?
Yeah, that was my parents' water.
Yeah,
They passed
yeah
it
I
down.
made the motion in the ocean on that bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
It
Water
was-
beds were a thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a 70s thing.
Yeah,
like
no, I mean,
80s
it's
thing.
80s. It was a big thing in the 90s. I
yeah,
feel
early
like.
90s, I think, was when it was
And
kinda like,
And now, I bet you, can you even find one? No one's
gone.
selling.
I don't know if you can get insurance on your house if you have a water
Dude,
bed.
I've popped so many water beds.
So did I.
Yeah.
I popped so many, and my mom got so fucking pissed that finally she had, instead of the big bladder, which is the one I had, the
Yeah.
full motion one,
Yeah.
which I had to buy these tubes that would go inside a mattress looking thing. So
Dude, they
it
must
wasn't.
have been cheap, though, right? If you think about it.
I mean,
A water bed?
I didn't pay for it at the time. My
I'm
mommy
just saying,
did.
it's just a big, like,
It's a bladder.
big rubber bladder. You just fill it up with water.
Filling the water up would probably be the most expensive part.
Probably so.
Well, I mean,
I remember
and-
doing that as a kid.
Me
like,
too.
Filling up the water bed.
Yeah, yeah. Turning on the heater,
Turn
make
the
it
waterbed heater,
adjust.
yeah.
Make
Yeah.
that shit warm.
Oh
you
my
get in it.
gosh.
I'm gonna
Oh
get
my
me
God.
one,
It's that
dude.
Kaylee money over
The
here.
Yeah.
I got that
Yeah.
heated water.
I
bed.
was making it rain on them bitches.
We're going to get a water bed.
Yeah, but if you were to put one on your second floor now, you have to like support the
all the
light.
weight. Yeah, oh yeah.
You imagine if you didn't? You're just sitting there like,
Can you imagine why you have to? Because it's happened.
right?
Yeah.
People's water beds just fall
how
straight
many
through the floor.
How many thousands of pounds is
Oh,
that?
you're done.
And I had a
You're sitting at the
king. I
breakfast
had like
table.
a king. It was like a cow.
I wouldn't even worry
You
about the
are
weight.
done.
I'd worry about where the water went.
Oh, dude, we need to. That would be a video. That would be absolutely amazing.
What?
We need to find an old shitty house, fill up a waterbed on like the second floor, and
Crash it
video
through.
it when it just falls through.
It's crazy.
Think about the slow-mo footage of that coming through the fucking ceiling.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Sitting there eating my breakfast,
It's something that-
eating my cereal.
We've only seen it in our imagination. Probably will never see a waterbed falling through a floor.
Can you even get a water bed anymore?
I'll bet you can.
Yeah.
Amazon's got to have
Yeah,
one. I'll
sure.
bet if we Googled
Yeah.
Amazon, I
Yeah,
bet there'd be
Amazon's got
one
one.
same day delivery.
Yeah.
We'd have to put that shit together. We could do that. We could literally.
I think it's going to be
find it.
harder to make the bed fall through the floor than you think.
I don't think so. You get an old house that doesn't have the right support.
Well, how are we going to get an old house?
Do you know what kind of market we're in right now? You know what
Dude.
interest rates are?
Are we just going to roll up on an abandoned, vacant house? It's not owned by
This is where we
anyone.
lean on the real estate mogul.
Right? Yeah, Ben. Well, that
Gus,
or
sure.
we lean on our listeners to find us an old shitty
well, hang on-
house
hang
that
on
we can
now, hang
stage
on.
this
I know some
thing.
old
Hang
shitty
on, hang on. He's got connections. The guys that are buying those houses in Milton, tear those things down.
Oh, I know lots of old houses.
Tell them what we want to do.
Cut the subfloor, get a little notch in it, put a little weight on it. It'll fall in a couple days.
Do a video.
That's
Just
what I'm
fast
saying.
forward it.
No, just put a GoPro up.
We'll get a little dining room table. We'll sit there and have our lunches and wait for it to fall through.
Y'all are crazy.
I'm not going to be anywhere close to it.
Yeah, don't do that, please.
Dude, that would be awesome footage.
I don't want new neighbors and friends.
Okay, we can wait until we're further down the road where we have like some, where our videos, like we could invest, you know, a certain amount of money in creating a video because it's going to make us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, the waterbed falling through the floor is just a...
Why don't you put mannequins up and dress them like you would?
Yeah.
And put like your body face. That way you're not dying.
We'll just cut out like a printed picture on the mannequin.
No, I think you do it like a prank where you have a VRBO. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And you have the people they're being recorded.
You're showing
They think they're on
them.
like a show.
Yeah.
But they don't know they're getting ready to get dropped through the freaking subfloor.
Or no, that while you're showing them the house, can you imagine? They get rushed out of the front door by the water that breaks.
Y'all are going to need a really good attorney.
They think it's a realtor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you are the realtor.
I'm not doing it. I told you, I'm as far away from this fucking idea as anything.
Why does it scare you so much? You said we talked about doing some pranks. That would be a glorious prank.
It'd be beautiful.
It would be. We can bring this up at a later date. Just make that note. Make a mental note, Ben.
We'll table this one for a later day.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, you have to run.
I do, boys.
Well, I know you have the rig to get back to. When I say rig, your office on land.
Home now, baby. Home.
That's right.
Yeah, but thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate your time, and I'll bet you can't wait to listen to yourself.
Hopefully I shedded some light. Probably not. Go watch the documentary.
Yeah, before you head off.
What's the name of the documentary again?
Stars in the Sky.
And Meat Eater.
It's on Netflix.
Before you head off into the sunset, do you have anything else on hunting that you would like to leave the curious mind?
I would just say don't judge a book by its cover. Really dissect it. Don't be so close-minded that you just say, hunting's bad.
Yeah, judge them by the content of their character.
Amen.
Amen.
Maybe consider hunting yourself. You might like it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe go on a murdering spree of animals.
I would just say
massacre.
Go sit in the woods.
Valentine's Day massacre up there.
You don't have to do a tower shoot out of the gate,
Yeah.
but you could.
I would honestly, as a man, as a woman, whatever you want to
Associate
with,
identify with.
Yeah, just go find a national park. I mean, the government gives you all kinds of land. You can just go out and sit. You don't have to hunt. If you love the wildlife, just go sit and enjoy it. It's pretty peaceful.
And maybe try killing a deer with a slingshot.
Yeah.
And see how you fare.
Or a squirrel.
Yeah.
Start small.
Yeah, you start small.
Squirrel stew.
Ew.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah, I'll bet. See, Kyle's tasted everything on the planet.
Turtle soup.
Ew, gross. Yeah.
Hey, man, we were all broke at some point in our lives.
Yeah, right.
Eat what you eat.
Thank you, buddy. So check it out. Thanks for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. You can find us Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Support the show by the big guy a table dance. You can check out our ManFUzed Gear, which Ben has been working hard at. We have a clothing line.
Beautiful stuff.
Check that out at manfused.com. We are now available to receive text, or you can leave us a voice message at 770-744-5227. We'll talk to you tomorrow.